Greetings. Welcome to Kerno EXP. Now, we haven't been out for a while because the weather in Cornwall has been atrocious. It's been that bad that the water, the rain, has been bubbling like a river on the roads. So I haven't been able to get out for the last 2.5 days, folks. Now, we are at Wheal Peevor. Wheal Peevor is one of the complete mine sites in Cornwall, apart from obviously the actual engines. So what we'll do now is we'll have a look around. So this is Sir Frederick's shaft. This is the main haulage shaft here, and this is where the head frame was. This piece of concrete here is a foundation for the head frame, and this engine you see right here is the pumping engine. Now this engine, as most of you folks would know, but not everybody would know, this would have been working, this engine here, 24 hours a day non-stop, rocking the pump rods up and down to work the pumps in the shaft. A series of pumps which pump the water up in stages by means of clack valves, and in the shaft there would have been balance bobs. The balance bobs would counteract everything, so the water that came out was known as the rising main, and it's just down there, folks, as you can see now. The water was pumped towards the local river, which is the Red River, which is the Redriff side of it, because there is a Camborne Red River as well, which served the mines on that side. The water that came out of these mines was a red, strong tea colour, and highly polluted, folks. So this is the pump. Now to the left here, this engine house here, sorry if I'm wobbling, is the stumps engine. Now originally there was a set of Cornish stumps there which crushed the rock that was mined out of the ground here to a fine sand. That sand was then put onto buddles and shaking tables, where there was buddles on this site, which we'll go and have a look at, hopefully. Now, to get the ore and the men deep underground, there would have been means by a whim. Now, whim is a small engine house, and that would have had a wire drum around it, and that would have wound the men up and down. So this, sorry about the wobbling, folks, meant to be a steady cam, isn't it? This is the whim, or remains of. It's like Mitchell's at Eastpool Mine. It's virtually the same, but this one's a little bit smaller. Now, I don't know if you want to read that or no. Actually, I've got a light on. What have I got a light on? Right, I'll hold it still, folks. If you want to pause it and read that, it's very interesting indeed. Indeed, folks. So, now, this is what the site was like. See the drum there? Isn't that amazing? So this is a local landmark, this engine house, folks. So I'll just retrieve my bike because I don't want it nicked. So it cost me a fair amount of money. afford to go and waste money. So this is the boiler house here, the remains of. So we'll just get a bit closer, folks, so I can put my bike somewhere safe, because there's tea leaves around. I don't trust too many people. They use it as dog shit alley by the looks of it. Right, so we're now in the boiler house at Wheal Peevor. So we'll just get this bike down here. There we are. Right, so we're now going to go into the engine house. Now there's something up here to note which is quite rare to see on derelict engine houses, and that is the middle chamber has still got the framework of the window in situ. That is rare. See it, folks? That is rare. That is really, really rare. You don't often see that these days. And of course up here we have the foundation for the bob, which is still in place, which is really, really rare. And there's the shaft. So this is the driving floor, looking towards Poole and Camborne. Looking at the stamps engine. Now this stamps engine here was altered to run on gas, and they put in a more modern stamps, a California stamps I believe, and of course you could hear it from probably down to Portreath Road there, I should imagine, which is quite a distance, isn't it, folks? So now we'll talk about the engine. This engine had two different engines in it in its life. It had an 80-inch, and I believe it started with a 70-inch. Now later on, the bob, or the beam that was up there, was replaced by a lattice work one, and that is quite rare on Cornish mine sites. You don't often see that. I don't know where the plaque is. This is coming off memory, this is, folks. What a clever dick. Sorry about the wind if you can hear the wind. Photographer there. So we'll now make our way to the stamps engine. If I can get my bike out. Right, so we're now walking outside the boiler house, remains of. Now making our way to the shaft. Have a look there, and then we'll have a look at the stamps engine. Now I'm local lad, I am. I grew up over at North Country, which is a stone's throw from here. Me and a couple of old mates of mine, Kevin Woodley and Dean Stone, used to piss about here in the 1980s. And didn't really know anything about mining then at all. This bicycle here. We used to ride our little Honda 90s up and down, pissing about, as you do when you're kids. So here's the shaft. There's probably a few pigeons in there. Yeah, you can see the pigeons there, folks. There you go, Wheal Peevor Sir Frederick shaft. Now this bit of alcove here is where the balance bob would have been, and that would have went up and down with the pump rod to help reduce on burning so much steam on the engine, you see. So it's quite well made, isn't it? Lovely pieces of Cornish granite. So it's very interesting indeed. So we have some original timbers here, which are still in situ, and we have the full height of the engine house, which is rather large, as we can see. I think it might be a bit higher than Taylor's actually, I'm not sure. So now we will make our way to the Cornish Stumps engine, later on gas engine. Sorry about the wind folks, if you can hear any wind, it's beyond my control that. Yeah, so when I was a kid we didn't even know that all this stuff was here. We knew the engines were here, but we couldn't get to them because it was all overgrown, like, you know. So that gives you an idea of what a Stumps engine was. A series of lump hammers that go up and down, which pulverise the rock to a fine sand. Watch out for the crap there. That sand is then taken to shaking tables where the ore was separated from the waste by means of water, shaking, and here we are. These are early shaking tables, I believe. Now these are actually here, but you can't see them right now because it's all overgrown, as you can see. It's pretty badly overgrown actually. But here's the foundations to the stamps. There's the stamping engine. So there would have been a conventional mine engine or Cornish mining engine in there, and the bob would gotten down, the lever would gotten down, there's a big wheel there, and there's a cam, which the cam would go along here, and it had lots of little dogs on it, and it lifted the levers up and down, which crushed the stone down to a fine sand, and that sand, once it's been separated by the waste, is called calciferite. So we'll just go over to that engine now. Sorry, I got to take my bike with me everywhere, but you do hear stories, folks, and I know that some friends of mine have left bikes around here that have been nicked. I don't want that, really. Sorry about the wind. Don't fall over. Please don't fall over, bikey. So this is the foundation for the later engine. This was a small gas engine, and this is where the drum or the wheel would have been, and it provided power for the apparatus outside. This is the original boiler house out here, and looking out at the original foundations for the steam engine that was here. Obviously there's not a lot left of it now. Cornwall Council put all this in 10-15 years ago and stabilised this because it was in a bit of a state, to be fair. Now, you see that engine house down there? Now that's on private land, and that is probably one of the worst engine houses in the whole of Cornwall. Now these are grade 1 listed, and that one is in a massive advanced stage of dereliction. The bob wall is structurally unsound. The two side walls at the top, that you can see, they've all fallen down. The chimney is on the brink of falling down. I believe there is another engine house near St Day which is in a similar condition. Now you'd think that Cornwall Council would enforce the owners to stabilise that, because it is a monument to all the men that worked in Cornwall, and that's members of my own family as well. So just to let you know what we're looking at here. In the distance down there is Portreath. Sorry about the wobbling. The houses you see in the foreground, that's a Luggan, and in between a Luggan and here is North Country, where I come from or grew up. And yeah. Now to the left here is Carnbray, Now the little thing on the left of Carnbrazer is the castle of the restaurant, and today it is a restaurant, but originally it was a folly for the Bassett estate. The monument in the middle, I don't know if you can see it or now. The reason why that is there, that was there, put there by the people of Camborne and Redroof to honour Lord Bassett de Dunstanville, because he was a mine captain and owner, and he looked after them. He created a hospital in Redroof, and when that was done, it was unheard of, apart from Sir Walter Scott up north of England, where he looked after his workers as well. So quite interesting, folks. So I hope you like these videos, or this video. It's a bit longer this time. I'm going to cut it off now because we've done basically. Like I said, I haven't been able to get out because the weather has been absolutely bloody ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You know, you can't do anything. So I'm hoping tomorrow, Saturday, we might be able to get out again and do some more exploring. So if you've enjoyed this little look around Wheal Peevor, which is one of the most complete mine sites in Cornwall, that shows you what a traditional Cornish mine was like. Like I said, it was 3 engine houses. It was the Stamps, which is this engine, it was the pump, and it was the whim. Now the whim is for winding the men up and down. The pump is for pumping the water, and that would have worked 24 hours a day. And this stamp engine basically was for crushing the stone down to a sand, and then that sand was taken to another site to be separated into cassiferite, which is what they were after. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next Explore. Cheers and gone.